Hey Tony, it's Friday, and first off, to answer your question of the week, I'm really excited and looking forward to getting back to Amped I miss all my friends. I look forward to just hugging everybody I can, and it's going to be great to get back to like that first event, see all my friends who I haven't seen in at that point 2 years, maybe more, and I'm really excited to get to that point. So what I want to talk about this week, Tony, is something that I am woefully unprepared and woefully unknowledgeable to be able to talk much about, but it's something I just want to talk about because it's wild. And that is the current issue going on in the stock market. So, now, full context, I only barely understand stocks in general. And there's some real deep stuff here, so I'm going to, try and explain something that I know nothing about. So, what else is new on this channel? Um, but so, if you haven't been paying attention this week, Tony, there's been a real big shakeup within the stock market for GameStop. So, now, for some context on this discussion, which again, I can only barely provide context because it's really complicated. And what this has shown to me is that stocks are just really hard, and it's a rich man's game because people like me just don't really get it. So, for some context, GameStop has been a little rough on stocks for a little bit because like COVID has really hurt them pretty severely, and they've lost a lot of business to like digital marketers. So if you want to buy games, you can easily just go onto like the PlayStation Store, go onto Steam, etc., and takes out the middleman of, in this case, GameStop. And a lot of their like collectibles that they kind of focused on of like you get to walk into the store and buy things. Well, during COVID times, people aren't really going into stores very much, so they're losing a lot of income there. So their stocks have been a little rough for a little while, but the CEO of Chewy, the pet company, ended up becoming a major investor, and it started to get put on what hedge fund people call short watch lists. So or like the short list or something along that lines. So here's what I'm going to try and explain as far as hedge funds doing short sales. And again, this is going to be a really bad description because I've had it described in a few different ways and I still don't get it all that much. But basically, the way it goes is hedge funds and other brokers can essentially borrow shares for X amount of money on a stock. And they borrow that, and the goal behind it is you borrow it, you sell it, and you pay back you pay back what you sold it for, it's a comparison between like what you sold it for and what you bought it for. So if you bought it low and it went lower, you get to actually keep more money than giving it back because you're just borrowing the share. But what happened in this case is there is a Reddit community called Wall Street Bets. And they have several meme stocks, is what they call them, including like Tesla, a couple others, and GameStop is one of their memeiest of meme stocks. And this hedge fund ended up coming out and saying that they put GameStop on like a short list and basically say, hey, they put this in a memo. Let's borrow a lot of this stock because I think it's going to go down even further, but it has a lot of growth potential. So they did that, and Wall Street Bets came in and seeing and being frustrated that this hedge fund was not scamming people out of their money, but was basically taking money from people. They decided to just buy the stock and buy more and more and more and more and more and more. So GameStop is rocking like a crazy percentage right now compared to what it was expected. So these
Stonks!
Yeah, stonks.
Stonks! Turn up market.
So these hedge fund people had to give back the money that they sold them for, which cost like this one hedge fund billions and billions of dollars. Like, I think I read a report now. You might have to double check me on this number, but I think the hedge funds lost like $17 I think it was like $7.1 billion.
$19 billion.
Was it 19 billion?
19 billion.
Thank you. A bunch of these hedge funds lost $19 billion on this crazy stock week. And again, I barely understand some of the short sales, but it does, it does my heart good to see regular people just screwing over billionaires. And like, I don't like saying it that way, but it's really been doing my heart good. Because,
It's beautiful.
This is an HDMI to HDMI.
And all of like the memes have been brilliant on it. One of my favorites has been, those hedge funds who just lost billions of dollars, maybe they need to start making their coffee at home to be able to save. And it's been such a great reversal of fortune on the internet that I'm loving the memes, because it's, all the things that your wealthy elites have been saying towards poorer people for years, of like, oh, if you don't do this, you'll make money. Oh, if you don't do this, you'll make more money. And now that the tables have turned, it's been fun to watch. Now, I'm sure this is going to have real long-reaching consequences for the stock market. But again, I am not a predictor of the marketplace, nor do I even pretend to be. But at least for this very slight moment, I've been living in just the reversal of fortunes I've been seeing.
Bad news, though.
Yeah, I saw stocks closed pretty low today, for the lowest since October.
No, other bad news.
What's the other bad news?
Those places that are selling shares, or that you buy shares from,
Yeah,
are now forcing shares in GameStop to be sold if you bought them within the past 48 hours.
yes, and there's actually lawsuits that have already been made to involving that, which
There's
I'm
also already Senate litigation of them.
which I'm really excited to see the litigation aspect, because nothing that they've been doing here is inherently illegal. So I'm really curious as to what the legal system is going to do involving this crazy week in the marketplace. So Tony, my question for you is, have you followed the memes at all? Because oh boy, are they glorious. Tony, I'll see you on Monday. Later, bro.